So you want to know what a period is. A period is something that happens to girls when they go through puberty. And it's actually just a small part of the menstrual cycle. And the menstrual cycle is a monthly cycle where the body releases an egg every month. And this is part of preparing a girl's body to become a woman's body that could get pregnant and have a baby someday. And every girl is born with all the eggs they'll ever have. And eggs are stored in these little ovaries on either side of the uterus. And the ovaries are connected to the uterus through fallopian tubes. So the uterus is like an upside down pear-shaped organ right about at the base of your abdomen. And your ovaries hold all the eggs you'll ever have in your whole life. And every month, and because of your pituitary gland releasing hormones, every month an egg is released from the ovaries and it'll come down the fallopian tube into the uterus, which is also known as the womb. And once it reaches the uterus has been preparing all month, building up this tissue and this lining. When I say tissue, I'm not talking about like Kleenex. I'm talking about like bodily tissues. It kind of looks like blood and blood vessels. And ultimately, it's forming kind of like a nest for this teeny little microscopic egg that you can't see. It's really small. And when this egg gets to the uterus, if it has not had the chance of being fertilized, then the egg is no longer useful to the body. Neither is all the lining and the tissue. So what happens next is the uterus starts to contract and it starts to push out all that lining that wasn't used and all that tissue that wasn't used and the egg that wasn't used. And that's when you have your period. So when the egg is coming out of the ovary into the uterus, that's about 24 to 48 hours typically, and that's called ovulation. And that's the most fertile time of the menstrual cycle. So if someone was trying to get pregnant, that would be the time to do it. And when the egg reaches the uterus, this starts the time of having your period. And periods, they start at different times for different girls. Some girls start their period really young, like 8 or 9. Some girls start much later, like 16 or 17. Some can start earlier or later than that, but that's typical. That's somewhere in that range. Usually it's around age 12. And a period is different for everybody. And that's a theme you're going to hear through this whole puberty talk. When you start your period, sometimes periods last 2 days. Some of them could last 10 days. Some women say they have really heavy flows, which means they feel like they have a lot of blood and tissue that comes out. And that blood and tissue gets pushed out into your vagina and ultimately comes out of your body. Some people say they have really light flows. So periods really differ. Some women feel really intense cramps. Some don't feel any cramps at all. So if you're curious what your period could be like, this might be a time to talk to women in your family you're related to, if you can, if that's available. But even that's not a true indicator of what your period could be like. They really are unique to the person. So when you're on your period, sometimes you don't feel that good. Sometimes you can get headaches, you feel bloated, which means like it feels like your belly's poking out a little bit. Sometimes you feel really, really hungry, or you have cravings, or you feel really tired, and that's all totally normal. And in a lot of cultures, even though a girl's on their period, they still have to live life and go to school or go to work. You still have to do things. So you can't just sit around and like wait for all of that blood and tissue to come out. You've got to continue your life. So they've created all of these ways you can catch that blood so that you're not just bleeding into your underwear or you're just bleeding into your clothes. And there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Something you can line your underwear with that's sticky on one side is called a pad or a maxi pad. And it's sort of like the material of a diaper, and it's not thick like a diaper. But you just put it in your underwear, it sticks, and it catches the blood, and you can take it out in like 4 to 8 hours, sometimes earlier than that, and you throw it in the trash. You don't flush it. Another thing you could do is use a tampon. And tampons are like a long little stick, and inside of it is a cotton wad with a string. And when you insert a tampon, you literally stick the applicator into your vagina, and you push the end of it, and it will push this cotton wad into your vagina where it will stay. And again, it's about 4 to 8 hours. Don't leave those in too long. And then the string hangs down so you can pull it out when it's full of blood. And a lot of people really doubt how much a tampon can hold in terms of fluid. It can hold a lot. and it can really absorb a lot of fluid. So don't worry, it's going to do the job. And you just throw it in the trash. Do not flush it down the toilet. Another way that you could catch period blood is with a menstrual cup, which is a silicone cup that you can squeeze and insert into your vagina, and it will kind of suction to your cervix, and it will catch all the blood like a cup. But then when you want to pull it out, you have to pull it out carefully, dump it out, and clean it, and then reinsert it. And another thing that's new technology that seems pretty cool is menstrual underwear. And this is underwear you can wear that literally absorbs your period blood throughout the day, and you can just wash it and reuse it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about your day, be on your period, and not feel like you're just like bleeding into your pants. Of course, when you start your period, you don't always know when it's going to start. Eventually, you'll start to recognize the symptoms. You're going to know when it's about to start. But at first, it's hard to tell. So you could wake up one morning and have blood in your sheets, or you might be at school and have blood in your underwear. If you're starting to feel some cramps in your lower abdomen, that's probably a sign that your period will start soon. So if you talk to your parents about this, they can help you get pads or tampons or something that you can have with you when you're at school or when you're at a friend's house, and you can be ready to take care of it when it happens. And remember, every human knows what a period is. Every adult knows what a period is. Whether you're a man or a woman, you know what a period is. You know what a girl needs to take care of it. And most adults in your life would be happy to help you get what you need in terms of tampons or pads or period underwear, so that you can feel comfortable during this time of having your period and being on your menstrual cycle. This is also a good time to bathe more, and just remember to take really good care of your body.